All right, this is Rachel Jones. I'm the Chief Nutrition Officer at NXT, and really glad to have you in here. Kiersten Maisey is a fitness professional and uses the NXT stack. I'm so glad that you made it into the studio today. We're excited to talk to you. I've heard nothing but awesome things about you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We're going to be talking about fitness professionals and good mental hygiene, mental health. Like sometimes we assume that those go together, right?
Right.
But there's work to be done on both ends, and getting the two to meet sometimes is,
can be challenging.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your story.
I'm a single mom. I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. And
awesome. That's the biggest job.
It is a big job. I was married for a short period of time, but went through a separation and filed for a divorce during my pregnancy with my youngest. And that's when I really got involved with the fitness industry.
How did you decide as a young mom to jump feet first into that?
Way before I ever went through all of that, I was raised in a family where I wanted my parents to come be active with me, go boating with me, ride the tubes with me, slide on the slide, swing on the swing. I wanted an active family from a really young age. My parents were really good about taking us to places and really good about being like, ask your brother. And I just wanted to be that mom, and never really had that example. So during those really hard times in my marriage and that divorce and separation, I needed an outlet.
Ooh, good point.
I really wanted somewhere to release my energy and my frustration, my worry, in a healthy manner where it wouldn't be my children facing that on the other end.
That is very introspective for a young person to be able to say, I'm not going to take this out on my kids. I'm not going to take this stress.
Right. Yeah, it's not their fault. I always wanted my home to be the safest place it could be from the outside world. So anything that happens outside our front door is out of my hands. But anything on the inside is something that we create as a family. And so my energy needed to be at its forefront, which means taking care of me I could better take care of them.
So you've turned to fitness.
I've turned to fitness, and I always tell Pat and John this, since before I was even with NXT, I was like, I have a mission statement because I want to help so many people, but through physical fitness, you find mental health, emotional clarity, and spiritual awakening. And I don't mean spiritual awakening is a specific religion or anything like that, but just helps your intuition awaken and brings all the pieces, like hones it all in.
I love that. We're really focusing on women's topics, and women's intuition is really important. It's really important to pay attention to that for safety purposes and to know, what to do next in life. So right. I'm glad you brought that up. Tell me a little bit about what led you to using Revive specifically.
Okay. So in June of this year, I competed in a fitness competition, the NPC show, and located here in Utah.
How did you do?
I didn't do very well. In fact, when I got my rankings, I was like, I placed last, but I thought I did good. So it was something that I had on my vision board for a really long time, and every year I just kind of do something. I just force myself to get there. So
that's great, especially this time of year to have somebody in here like you who just is proactive about goals.
Yeah, I love it. I've come so far than I ever thought I ever would, especially in my situation coming from where I came from.
Oh, that's so cool.
So just to compete and follow through and be able to pay for it financially and pick the suit I want with the lady, I helped her design the whole thing, and I had a coach that did posing every week. It was a really neat experience to be able to do that.
Did that give you something that you didn't have before, that experience?
Yeah, it really did. I think there's such a huge importance in goal setting, regardless if you're male or female or in age. It gives you a sense of something you're working towards. I got really in a bad habit before of waking up, going to work, coming home, homework, bath time, dinner, bedtime, just a really cookie cutter, this is my life, robot mentality. And having that goal kind of broke up our schedules a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So how did you make that transition from just the automatic, because being a mom of young children enough, right? I mean, you
Right.
have enough on your plate. But by adding something like a fitness competition in, how did that adjust your whole perspective and your schedule, and how did the kids adjust to that?
We got really creative with the scheduling. I have my daughter full-time. I'm a full-time parent with her, and I have my son part-time. So she's a little bit older, and we would work out together. My daughter got really involved in CrossFit, or my son loved going to the kid care because there were friends his age. So we really just worked it out, and also having a support group. My family wasn't an active family as far as going to the gym growing up. So for them to understand where I'm coming from and needing that in my life was just really like, this is something that I need.
Oh, I
and
love
whether
that.
you support me in my goal or not, just support me in who I am, like as a person. Maybe not going to the gym, or maybe not the competition. Maybe you don't understand why I felt like the competition was so important, but they loved me and they knew I was important and that was important to me. And they really would manage the time they wanted with my kids around time that would be helpful for me to be able to fulfill my goal. So that
That's
was a
really
huge
cool.
help to have my family.
So what would you tell women who really want to make a change for the new year and they feel like maybe they don't have the support they need, or they don't have the time, or they're just maxed out? Like, is there a small step they could take towards achieving a fitness goal?
Yes, make the decision. And to go back really quick, I did the show and I needed the revive. My testosterone levels were down and a few of my other hormone levels were down, so I was super tired, and Pat's like, try this. And I was like, okay. I've loved all the NXT supplements, and I've used them even before my prep, so I just knew I had to try it, and it's something I take daily, and I feel just awake. I feel like I can absorb energy, or absorb the what am I trying to say? Like if you were reading a book and you're trying to learn something, I feel like it's retaining instead of just going over me like a cloud.
That's so
like
true,
just
especially
going,
this time of year. You know, we're in December right now, and it's just, I mean, there's so many things going on
Right.
around us, and, you know, we're all living in our heads, and we're trying to make the right decisions.
Instead of being present, you're actually present in every form instead of just physically.
Yeah, so the first
So
thing you noticed
mentally.
taking Revive was what? Like, what was the initial, like,
Just
oh,
like
this
I've
might
heard
be
people
working?
like need like 12 cups of coffee. I
Mhm.
never was a coffee drinker, but I could have probably compare it to that. Like I just felt awake, alert, ready to learn. I could do it. Give me a task, I could get it done in a timely manner. I didn't really have like that sluggish feeling throughout the day where I was just super kind of like lethargic. Like I was there, but tired and ready for a nap. And I needed that awakening and energy, especially if you're going to the gym and you're making that decision. That's what it really boils down to. You're making a decision to make your goal a priority, and it's important to you.
So when do you take Revive? Do you
I
take it
take
before your
it
workout?
in the morning.
Or?
I wake up, I take a scoop of my pre-workout, I take a scoop of my Revive, and I mix it together, and I start my day like that. And honestly, I don't use a pre-workout before
Wow.
my workout anymore.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I just start my day like that.
So tell us a little bit about how, as a fitness professional, you've really keyed in on your mental health to be more present for your kids, to be more present for your
Right.
job, you know, to be more present for clients, and like tell us how you prioritized your own mental health and what you do to keep yourself, shall we say, sane in these times of like just mass confusion.
Yeah, I had to really learn that self-care was not selfish.
I love it.
And it's really hard to do. It's really hard to like be like, no, I need to soak tonight, and I'm going to, because there's the endless to do things. I think that's one thing. I started working out at home. I was like, maybe I'll just work out from home and that'll be good enough. But then I would start working out and I would see the list of things popping up, like, oh, I need to dust that over there. Oh, I missed a spot with the vacuum. I should just hurry and go get it. And then my workout never got done. So now I go to the gym, and a lot of people have talked to me about going and meeting people to date, because I've been single for so long, they would think you would run into people there. But I'm like, my headphones are in. This is my time.
Wow.
Whatever you're doing for your self-care needs to be about you, not about making an impression or the children or what should be done or what could be done. It's just what your needs are.
How did you give yourself permission as a woman? Because, you know, that doesn't come naturally or intuitively for women. We're the caretakers.
Right.
We are not the ones that are taken care of. So in a situation where nobody's taking care of you,
Mm-hmm.
how do you give yourself permission to do that for yourself?
I have a really high responsibility at home. I'm a single mom, so I take care of all the bills and all the duties at home. And then I have a really, really heavy, stressful workload as well. I'm the only full-time employee they have. So
Wow.
I kind of gather all the pieces, and I was kind of falling apart, like, because I wasn't taking care of myself. I was showing up really kind of agitated and short with people. And I actually had a heart-to-heart with my kids, and I was like, if I ever start feeling like a little snappy or maybe just a little quiet, maybe you could just say, Mom, it's time to go to the gym. And they have noticed.
Love that. Like, that's a really great suggestion. So you're involving your kids in your own mental wellness and mental health and self-care and making sure that it's a team effort.
And I think doing that too, when your kids can see a difference and you have given them permission to let you know when they see a difference, it opens their eyes as well. Be like, Mom is so much happier and our home is so much more abundant and we have so much more fun and it's so much more laid back when Mom is taken care of.
Yeah,
or like 40 minutes in the gym really isn't that selfish. I mean, there's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, that's a small investment with such a huge payback.
Right.
Talk about the fitness community in general. What do you see in terms of the needs of women specifically in the fitness community? Because I think we assume, like, if somebody's working out, they've got it all together.
If you're working out, you do not have it all together. No, I'll tell you a little. For a long time when I first started going, I would go to a club where there would be classes, and I would take like the body pump is what it was called, and I would follow the instructor for a long time. And then I moved to Pinterest because I didn't want to go at a certain time every day. With my schedule, I didn't have an allotted time every day, a specific time to go every day. So then I'd get on Pinterest and I would just follow the images for arms or lower body or midsection. And I tried to do that, upper body, lower body, and abs every day. And then I hired a coach, and I was so busy and so overwhelmed with my children and with my work. And I met NXTWomen. Actually, I have a full-time job where I'm a dental assistant. I had a part-time job where I was modeling and doing promotion work. And then I was full-time parent as well.
So you had 3 full-time jobs.
Yeah, I'm trying to juggle it all. So when I hired my fitness coach, she would print me off. She would just send me a list of things to do, and I would be like, I have no idea what to do. And then YouTube and Google, and you just figure it out. And you have to do the footwork. It has to be something you're dedicated to, because I've known a lot of people that have gotten plans, don't understand the plans or the motions, and they will put it aside. But then they are constantly agitated that they're not getting the results or not progressing forward. And I think
what would you say the problem is in that situation? What are they not doing?
I think it's the lack of education. I mean, there have been times I've had to go up to someone just working at the gym and just ask them.
Wow, that's bold.
You have to have that courage. But even, when you're getting into heavyweight training, you need a spot. And if you're going for self-care, you don't always have a spot. So you do have to have a level of courage, whether it's a friend that works at the gym, or if you really get acquainted. I go to Vasa, and I work in Salt Lake and live in North Ogden, so I'd consistently go to different Vasas, but I'd really get to know people that worked at the counter, because they became my go-to people. If I really needed help with understanding a machine or a movement on my plan or needed a spot, they could always either introduce me to someone or help me.
So you found that that's really good to just meet the people at the front desk.
And it's really kind of fun because I was out of the gym for a while. About 5 weeks I was recovering from a surgery, and like 3 of the Vasa members stopped by my house. Are you okay? Got emails and calls from people around the gym that we've made really good friendships just in the gym. And I think that's what it is. Maybe people worry a lot about not having that partner to go with all the time. I know in the beginning I hated going alone because I was a new place. I was unfamiliar. But I think going and finding that courage to just, regardless of if my friend shows up or doesn't show up, or if I understand my plan or don't, just pulling out your phone, using the tools that you have in your hand, and getting to know the people that are there in your presence and being acquainted with them can really help you move forward and build relationships. And I think that's what life's about, building relationships. It really is.
So when you walk through the doors of the gym, what's one word that describes how you feel, to get you motivated to get through that workout? Like, what's the one word that you would pick that you really self-select as you walk into the gym?
I don't know. I almost get like a natural high, like being in there. It's so funny that you asked that. One of my friends recently, he works at the gym. He'll like message me. He's like, "We really miss you dancing around the gym," because I would put my earbuds in, and in no Pacific time or whatever, I would just break out in a dance move in between my sets. And I just like tried really hard to like make it my experience.
Mm-hmm. So it's your happy place.
It really
basically.
is.
It's
I mean,
the place where you feel
it's where
safe.
I release all my worries, my negative energy. It's where I find positive energy. I go in there sometimes with a heavy plate and leave feeling so refreshed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So specifically, do you have any recommendations for women jumping back into fitness for this new year? Say they haven't been in the gym for a while. Would you start them out on just basic treadmill walking, or like what would be your first? How could you ease somebody back into the gym who's intimidated? They don't know anybody. They don't feel comfortable. It's not their safe place. It's not their happy place.
Right.
Give some tips or suggestions for somebody who wants what you have, but they're not there yet.
Okay. First of all, I would say that you really need to check in with yourself and know what your goals are, and get in tune also with your eating habits. Why are you eating what you're eating? Are you overeating? Are you eating more saturated, processed foods? Are you cooking at home? Are you eating out? Just really get in tune with what you're eating and why, and if you're eating too much or not enough, and kind of get in a reality check with yourself a little bit. Like, you have to kind of go to that dark place that you've suppressed down to really come out of it.
Really get to know yourself and your own thoughts. Not be afraid of that.
Food is very important, because if you are not fueling your body properly, it's not going to perform properly. But I also think if you can have a plan, and it goes back to that self-care. And there, I had a thought, and I'm losing it. I'm trying to find it back because there's something I wanted to say. You have to make it a priority. You have to have a plan, and you have to be in check and in tune with yourself. You have to get proper nutrition. That is one thing I know I lack, and that's why I love NXT supplements so much. They have no fillers in their products. It is what it is on the label, and it's pure. I think women really need to do it. I think they always put themselves on the back burner, and I think the confidence and strength that comes from getting yourself there, just even if you don't want to go, if you just get in the car and drive and walk in the door, getting yourself physically to a place will help you so much to continue on. And never compare yourself. When you're going, you need to be in your bubble for you and your goal. And even if it's walking on the treadmill, like you said, personally, I love lifting weights. I mean, when I'm a little fluffier on my off season, or when I'm really down, I like my body fat percentage is still down. I love doing weights, but that's another thing. Go ahead and buy something that you can do at home. I have a treadmill at home, so I really keep my 40 minutes to something I enjoy in the gym. If you want to walk your dog every night, start with walking your dog every night.
Love it.
I think letting your loved ones know that it's a priority for you, and then be open-minded for their suggestions when my kids say, "Mom, I think you need to go to the gym," and then I go, I think it's because I've missed. I usually try to go 4 or 5 days, but if it's only been 3, it's like, okay, I've reached my limit. But I think women need to take a deep breath and not feel so intimidated, because all of us are really clueless. Every time you're learning and growing and progressing forward, it's still a dark zone.
I love that statement.
We all have these goals, and we don't know what the journey is going to be like. Even if you've been in the gym for a long time, or even if you've had success in other areas for a long time, there's still darkness if you're progressing forward.
Wow, love it. So don't be afraid to fail,
right.
basically.
Yeah. Well, even if you don't know what if you know what the end result you want to be, but you don't always know the route to get there. So maybe not failure, but you have to be open-minded to the rerouting.
Mm-hmm. And redesigning.
Yeah, you really do.
Redesigning your life a little bit.
Yeah.
What are some mantras or like mottos that you use currently to stay in that zone where you're really taking care of yourself and you're really prioritizing yourself? Can you share with us some of the things that you say to yourself?
Sure. Me and my daughter have one we say every day: I am deserving and worthy of all my heart's desires and so much more.
Love it. That is powerful.
Yeah, there's so much power in
Did it
positive
take you a while
affirmations.
to believe that?
Yeah, I think still sometimes I don't believe that, but it's having that repetition where when your mind starts to wander, you have that thought. So it intervenes.
Say that one more time for us, because I think that's a really powerful
Okay.
message to give yourself, and especially to young girls.
Yeah. I am deserving and worthy of all my heart's desires and so much more. Yeah.
That's incredible. And how old is your daughter?
She's 9.
So you're teaching her early that she is worth it. She's worth that self-care.
Absolutely is.
She's worth the best in life.
Yeah.
Do you have any more that you use, like when you're lifting heavy or
I
like
really like to count down from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because I feel like when you start at 1, but it's a really hard task, 10 seems so far away. So counting backwards really helps me. And just making sure that the music that you're listening to is in good harmony. Like, you don't want to go physically exercise your body, but spiritually or mentally be brainwashing your body with filth.
So you're really picking your music carefully.
Yeah.
Anything that you're listening to right now that might be helpful for anybody else out there?
Everything right now is Christmas music. I don't suggest that all year round, but if that really makes your heart joyful, go ahead and do it.
So really you're talking about your heart, your spirit, body, mind, and soul together, making sure that you're
I just want to feel good, and I didn't have an outlet. Like a lot of people that are married have that spouse, and they ying back and forth, and they consider ideas and all the options, and I don't have that. So I really have to work it out within myself to find how to pay the mortgage and how to still put groceries on the table. And my kids, because my son's involved with his dad and my daughter is with me all the time, have very two opposite schedules. So there's like 3 worlds I'm trying to juggle at all the time. And I just, to like have that 40 minutes of fresh air. So whatever is involved in that 40 minutes has to be rejuvenating for me. And my soul, like it has to.
So it's not about tearing your body down or tearing your muscles down. It's really about
that's the benefit.
Regenerating or re-energizing.
Yeah, it really is. But there are perks. I mean, obviously, look good, feel good. And I think too that it's, and I've had a lot of conversations with people like this. They don't understand that mentality a lot because I think in the fitness industry you see. Skin sells once you get those results. It's like here I am, and it can change you a little bit. You can get caught up in that web, but I think if you're doing it for the right reasons, you will continue with your goal throughout the year, and the next year you'll have another one. I mean, if you're not in it for the right reasons, it's really hard to keep the fire lit.
How do you stay humble and confident? Because that's what I see in you. I see a humble confidence where you really do deserve, you really exude that message that you do deserve the best in life, but at the same time, it's like you're not comparing yourself or your results to anybody else. How do you keep that balance?
I think I've gone through so much, like Pat has said, like we could go places you don't want to go. But with the life that I've had, like I've learned everybody's in it for themselves. So if you're going to give somebody something, the expectation can never be a give and receive. It has to be something like, I want you to have this, and you have to freely let it go into whatever it is. And I've tried to live my life that way. I have this intuition, and I want to follow it. I want to act on it. And whatever happens to that person, whether it's a give and receive relationship or they move on, I hope maybe they can pay it forward. Maybe they don't. But just with all the blessings and the way my life has panned out and the journey that I've had, I'm like, there's no reason to hold this grudge or be bitter. I mean, we all have our hardships. I mean, relationship or no relationship, kids or no kids, there's a struggle for everyone.
So you see people as going through their own struggle. You kind of
we really are
very empathetic towards everybody that you meet.
Yeah, and I feel like we almost have to be. Especially in the world of social media now, it all looks so beautiful, but that's just not true. Yeah. And it's not bad that it's not true. That's how we grow. Right. But I think sometimes the reactions or actions of others can really put a damper, or just the way you communicate with people, the tone in your voice, a kind hand, how you shake someone's hand, how you say goodbye, and how you say hello. It makes a huge difference, those little steps.
It's very contagious. Tell us about how you use the next set. This is we're switching gears, but the nutrition part of what you do. Tell us how you use the next set stack, and like how you throw Revive in there, and what you notice from each of the three in the nutrition stack, and then by adding Revive, what did you notice?
So I felt like, so charge and then repair, and I'm just going to go by what they are to me, how I use them. So I have my pre-workout and my BCAAs, and I have my recovery. And then I added in Revive because I was so tired, and I would go to the gym, and then I just felt like I needed a nap, and I had other things to do throughout the day. So I don't have the opportunity
you have like four full-time jobs
to take a nap. So every morning since I started, before I started using Revive, I would wake up, I would have my morning routine with breakfast, go to work all day, and then get off work and be home with my kids. And then after bedtime, the babysitter would come. I would take a pre-workout. That's horrible. That's like ready for bedtime. You're taking a pre-workout, but that's how tired I was. So I'd take a pre-workout on my way to the gym. And then in the gym, I would use my BCAAs. That helped with my recovery so much, because if you're not taking BCAAs and replenishing all of the nutrients that you're using during your workout, you're going to be sore and miserable the next day.
So that really does make a difference, drinking during your workouts.
It really did for me. I oftentimes, because it was so late in the day and I wanted to get in, my Recover and BCAAs would be blended together.
I like that.
Yeah, I loved it. I still do it sometimes. But honestly, if I didn't take my supplements, the next couple days, trying to do everything I do in my day-to-day life was not happening.
Do you take them on your off days? Do you take them on the days when you're not in the gym?
I don't take my BCAAs and my Recover on my off days, but I do still take my pre-workout. I need the energy, and it's a pure source. I have tried really hard to avoid caffeine and sugar. I have an issue with my pancreas where it doesn't use insulin as it should. So sugar actually makes me really tired instead of like giving me that little buzz to like make it through the end of the day. Yeah. No, it'll give me a nap.
So you really need to avoid that altogether.
I really do. And so that's what Charge has helped me with. It's a super pure supplement that I can turn to and actually feel energized.
And you can use that anytime, not just
anytime.
Pre-workout.
So when I added in Revive, I did in the morning, I switched it up to my pre-workout with Revive. That would start my day. And then I'd have breakfast about a half hour later, go to work, come home, do my normal routine, and then BCAAs and Recover at night.
So great information here. What advice would you give to fitness pros or even fitness trainers about like using Revive in their own workouts or using Revive with their clients? Anything you want to say in terms of fitness professionals?
Yeah, I think when you add anything into your life that's not in a normal routine, like getting back into the gym, especially with all of this coming up in the new year, you want to have your brain functioning. You want to be awake, and your body's going to take time to transition. And I think that's what Revive does. It helps you wake up. It helps you alert. It helps you maintain and retain the information that's before you. It helps you think more clearly so you can make better decisions. And I don't think there's anybody, whether they're an athlete or not, that shouldn't be on Revive.
Well, I'm really impressed with all of the jobs that you have and all the responsibilities, and you're doing it by yourself, and you're an advocate of self-care. I think you're a really good example of somebody with good mental health as well as good physical health, and to be juggling all of these different
I don't feel mentally healthy if I'm not physically doing something.
That's beautiful.
And I think that can be a lot for a lot of us. I mean, a lot of people are looking at their lives thinking they don't have time to be physically active. They're also finding a lot of time, though, to be on social media or television or games or gaming the systems, gaming video systems. And it's like there is time. And I feel like there are times where we go to those places, the couch, to check out, to mentally check out. But if you're not mentally present, I could understand why that would be frustrating to just resort to that. And I think that's what Revive has helped me with. Like, it's helped me not want to go there.
It's allowed you to like be more present for yourself.
It's not, now I'm showing up and my mind is at the same stance with me. I'm going to the gym and I'm not just going through the motions. Like, I'm here and I'm aware. I'm going to work and I'm here and I'm aware. I'm not just going through the motions anymore, where I was so overwhelmed and tired and going through all this transitioning, especially from coming off my prep. You know, my hormones were trying to balance, my body fat was trying to balance, and my routine was different because it wasn't so extreme cutting down to that show and then coming out of it. But Revive has helped my mental state be where my physical state is at.
Yeah.
So I can be more
definitely
wholesome.
Obvious. You seem like a whole person.
Yeah. I feel like a whole person
body,
now.
mind, and soul are all talking to each other in the same vein. So.
And I remember like talking to Pat before, and I was like, I just don't know what's going on. And he's like, no, I'm telling you, you need to try this. And he looked at me, and I was just sobbing, kind of like, I know what my schedule is. I know what I'm doing, but mentally I don't feel like I have it together.
Oh, well, I am going to say you definitely have it together.
I feel like I have it together now.
Super impressed with you. I think you're such a great example to young women and to like women in general who are ready to make that transition to caring for themselves and to prioritizing themselves.
If I could let anyone know, especially women, because I am one and I don't think like a man, but whatever your desires are, you're worth it. And if you don't make the initiative to set that standard, nobody's going to treat you or honor it the way you want it to. You have to put that foot forward. You have to take courage to break out of your routine and make the change. If you want change, you have to be that change. And if you want people to respect you, or you want your relationships to improve, that relationship and respect for yourself has to improve first.
Wow, that is powerful.
It has to.
That your relationships can only be as good as your relationship with yourself.
Absolutely.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And on that note, I just want to thank you so much, Kiersten, for coming in and really sharing your story and your insights into body, mind, and soul and mental wellness and physical well-being. You're really a great example to all women, and I just appreciate you spending time and coming in here with us tonight. Thank you so much.
Here. Thanks for having me.